Welcome to my video. I wanted to make a video about Raid Shadow Legends, obviously, about being a free-to-play player, a long-term free-to-play player. I've been playing since beta of this game. It was around September, October 2018, so it's just over 4 years now. I've played on and off. I've taken some pretty big breaks over the last few years, sometimes 6 months without playing, but I always come back because I think about all the champions I have and the things left in the game that I haven't quite solved or overcome. I haven't beaten the game yet, basically, and they keep introducing new things. What I really wanted to talk about in my video is, as a free-to-play player, what is achievable, but more importantly, how should you use your resources? And with the various events, tournaments, and so on that we have in this game, especially fusions, when they bring along fusions periodically, especially these fusions that require you to take part in all of the events and tournaments to get some champions to fuse together, for new champions to fuse into the legendary fusion champion. And at the moment, the fusion is Nishak Vermin Lord. I want to talk about how possible it is as a free-to-play player to get a fusion champion every time one rolls around, and like I said, just how you should really spend your resources, or what's a good way of going about using the resources that you have, because obviously as a free-to-play player you don't have as many resources at your fingertips as someone who is buying packs from the shop. I very seldom even look at what's in the shop because I just don't spend money on this game. And if you do, well, more power to you. You probably end up with a whole lot of shards and good stuff like that. When I opened Void Shards the other day during the 2x event, I had 19 Void Shards saved, and I scrimped and saved to get 19. And then I see people opening 50, 100 Void Shards. I can't imagine what it would cost to buy that many Void Shards. I don't have a really solid plan. I haven't written anything down, but I just wanted to start recording and put together my first real Raid Shadow Legends video, because I am a long time player. I know a lot about the game, about how it works, and I know how to achieve what I want to achieve. It's a little bit slow going. I do need to work quite significantly on a few areas of the game to improve my champions, improve my gear, and just really get past those particular challenges. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was well, let's start with silver. So as you can see, I've got 283 million silver. It's not the most I've ever had. I spent about 50 million the other day just upgrading gear. I think it was just before the last CVC, or maybe a little bit during the CVC. I was trying to rework some champions. So my clan boss team is this one here. So I use the man salad eater, double man eater, and martial ed with painkeeper to reduce the cooldowns. So basically it's an unkillable team with martial ed to keep the speed consistent for this speed tune, and it's alright. I did 121 million on 2 keys, so since re-gearing Draco Morph, which is what I spent a big chunk of money on, I've actually managed to push my damage up to around 55 to 60 million per key, which is a little bit better than I was doing. So yeah, re-gearing really drained the silver, but in terms of silver itself, I'm sure you would have heard this if you've watched anybody's videos about how to make silver. Spend it when you have to. Maybe don't go spending 50 million just on a whim to try and re-gear some characters, even if it is for improvement. So actually another character that I improved recently was Geomancer, and I actually worked on a few things with him. I wanted to get his accuracy up a bit so I can use him in Hard Doom Tower, but also against the twin, what are they called? Iron Twins. So that was a new thing when I came back to the game recently, was this Iron Twins fortress. So yeah, I basically worked on my Geomancer, and I re-geared him a bit. He's got 1 perception, 1 speed, 1 what's that called? Resilience. One resilience set. And I guess the best trinkets that I can put on him, accessories I can put on him. So I re-geared him, and that was part of the cost. And there are a few other champions that I sort of mix and matched gear. There are certain champions I won't remove gear from, such as my Arbiter, and she's not the fastest Arbiter in the world, but I'm quite happy with where she sits, and I've used her for a really long time in the exact same gear. I just, through Hell Hades Artifact Optimizer, have not found better gear for Arbiter in the last at least 2 years. So she's still the same old Arbiter. So the best way to get silver is to farm the spider, and I only just unlocked stages 21 through 25 of the spider, and that was part of my investment of silver recently, was to get from stage 20. So my stage 20 team was a speed team with a resetter. I used Prince Kaimar to reset, and it would basically be Coldheart dropping the turn meter, my 2 Royal Knights doing massive damage, and then I'd reset all over again, and boom boom, it was dead. This is great up to stage 20, but from stage 21 on, you can't do max HP based damage, really. It's not effective, and the spider has more health, everything like that. So I made a new team for Spider 25 until yesterday. I'll talk about that in a bit, but Mordecai was level 50, and he actually did okay. Not perfectly, occasionally he died. My level 50 Coldheart always dies, basically. But yeah, I rebuilt the team, and I found that the key to this was actually Miscreated Monster, that he actually is a really integral part of this team. So I haven't rebuilt Miscreated Monster in a very long time. I would have got him probably within 6 months of his release a few Halloweens ago, and yeah, basically my Miscreated Monster, if I go to this team, that's not how you do it, is it? Oh yeah. He's running at 218 speed, which he's had for a very long time, 100% crit rate, and 242 accuracy. You know, his accuracy is, I don't think, that important for what I'm trying to achieve with him in his role, but 88,000 HP is actually pretty decent for an HP based champ. And my Mordecai, I reworked him so that he's fast, so 247 speed, he's got a bit of resistance, and he's close to 300 accuracy. I'd rather have 300, but over 250 is okay for the spiderlings, I think. And then with my Cold Hearts, 284 accuracy, 196 speed, and this one's slower. She's 186, she's my level 50, but she's at 291 accuracy, so they've both got enough accuracy to reduce the turn meter 97% of the time. And then Prince Kaimar, he's not a fast boy, but he's got very high accuracy. I use him in 3v3, and he's actually really handy, being able to strip buffs and drop his sleep. So yeah, Spider 25 really opened it up for me in terms of being able to farm a bit better, have better accuracies, and therefore more silver income. So that's how you get your silver. If you're still working your way through Spider, do the highest one that you can, rework your team, pour a bit of silver into your team, upgrade their gear, improve them, and so on. I think when I started using Mordecai and testing him out on the Spider, he still doesn't. So he doesn't even have masteries. unlocked his skills. I really wanted to get a higher debuff chance on this, but I ended up having to do all of his skills as the books fall. So he doesn't even have masteries, and in fact, I wonder. Nope, she doesn't have masteries either. So my level 50 Cold Heart doesn't have masteries either. My level 60 Cold Heart was built many years ago. She's been a really core part of my account. So yeah, this one is there to drop the turn meter and then die. She has the enemy max HP, what's it called? Destroy. She has a destroy set on to help her reduce enemy max HP. I had an idea that I would use her in Doom Tower, but I don't even think I have used her in Doom Tower, so she's just sitting with old gear on with enough speed and enough accuracy. The second thing I wanted to talk about in terms of resources was energy. Now, we don't get a lot of energy as free-to-play players. There are a few sources, so you generally get a gift quite frequently of 1 energy refill. You also, obviously, as everyone knows, you get it a free refill every day just from leaving the game running. You get one from fighting in the classic arena 5 times, and if you complete all of the advanced quests, you get a refill. However, there are certain advanced quests they've introduced that are not terribly player or free-to-play player friendly, and those are the ones that ask you to ascend a weapon, or possibly the ones that ask you to add glyphs, which you don't always want to add glyphs. As a free-to-play player, you want to conserve your glyphs and use those during CVC. Yeah, so just getting energy can be quite hard. So related to that is gem usage, and once you've upgraded all your permanent stuff with gems, gems are free to just toss around. So I use gems for 2 things. I use them to refill my energy. When I'm going to farm overnight and I need, say, 1600 energy to do a super raid 50 times or whatever, or however much I need, then I'll use oodles of 40 gem energy refills to refill my energy until I've got the amount of energy I need to just constantly leave the game running overnight and farming some good stuff. Actually, most of it's not good stuff, but it gives you silver. You end up selling 99.9% of what you get. So yeah, just frivolously using gems. I've still got 8,000. I had over 10,000, I think, when I came back to the game, but as I said, I use them for lots of energy refills and also masteries. So for my champions masteries, for example, I've just been trying to clear more of hard Doom Tower than ever before, and I didn't have any masteries on Seer, so I don't even know if these are the right masteries. I might actually remaster her to go down the accuracy tree here, and then down to Master Hexer, I think. I'll probably keep similar ones here. I might go Whirlwind of Death, where she gets more speed and she also gets more damage by the time you reach the dragon, because I use her for my brand new Dragon 25 farming team. So I'm going to rework her masteries, but I was trying to do Dragon 25 with no masteries. So 800 gems, boom, fill up your champions masteries, good to go. So that's what I use my gems for. The last thing I want to talk about, actually, sorry, there are 2 more things I want to talk about. One of them is when to upgrade things. So in terms of the gear that you get, filter it out, sell everything that you're not going to use, hang on to the pieces that you think could be good, and I've found that the best time to do that is during the artifact upgrade tournaments or events, whatever they are, and during CVC. So every 2 weeks we have a CVC, clan vs clan. That's when you should be upgrading your champions, putting books into your champions, maxing them out, and going through all of the gear that you've held on to in the meantime and starting to upgrade it. So you take it up to what, 4, 8, 12, whatever, however much silver you want to use, upgrade your gear, check it out, toss it out in the trash, because most of the time you're not going to get the stats you want. It's not going to land where you want it to land, and so you're going to sell a lot of gear. But if you do it during CVC, that's good. And also the forge during CVC, just save up your resources and make a whole lot of stuff in the forge as much as you can during CVC, because it's a good time to blow a few resources to end up with more resources. CVC is a good chance to use resources to get resources. So just be patient and upgrade your gear and things like that during CVC, and of course during tournaments or events where you're after particular awards. Which brings me now to talking about fusions. The last thing I wanted to talk about was how viable is it as a free-to-play player to fuse champions. I can tell you that way back during beta, right near the end of beta, they released Sir Nick as a fusion champion, and it was a fusion unlike anything players now would be familiar with. You had to get certain champions through shards and dungeons and whatnot, and you had to build all these champions right up to be able to fuse Sir Nick. And it was a little bit luck based, because there was a particular rare champion that you simply had to get just randomly in the mix of all other champions. There were probably multiple blue ones, but I think some of them could be got if you kept running particular stages of the what are they called? Not dungeons, the campaign. Particular stages of the campaign over and over, and you could get particular blue champions like Ares or whatever they are, right? But there was this particular blue champion, rare champion, and people complained because they just weren't getting it. I was very fortunate, because even though I was a free-to-play player, I had saved up, I think it was about 1,000 mystery shards, and I just kept opening mystery shards until I got this blue champion. I probably had some ancients as well, but yeah, I ended up fusing Sir Nick in the original fusion event, and it was then that I realized that yes, if you conserve your resources and you use them wisely and you play the game to the best of your ability, fusion champions are possible. So to close out this video, I want to talk about Nishak Verminlord, and he's an amazing champion, as you would have seen if you've watched Hell Hades coverage of him, or if you've watched, I think YST did one where he he one shot, what was it? There was something that it was Bommel, it was Bommel 90, and he one shot Bommel 90 on hard. Just crazy. So yeah, Nishak Verminlord has a great place in this game, I think, especially for a free-to-play player. I don't have any bomb champs, I'm sorry, I just lied. I have Lord Shazar, and he's sitting in my vault, and I've never used him ever since I pulled him, because I just don't have the gear to build him. But aside from Lord Shazar, I don't have any bomb champs, and I think the whole way that Nishak Verminlord, the Rat King, works is kind of cool. The whole, I'm just going to load that boss up with poisons, I'm just going to put all these bombs up, and if they explode, great, that's extra damage, but if not, boom, turn them into poisons and just annihilate stuff with all these poisons. And if we look at the news article about him, this is where you look at what the schedule is. So if you check the schedule, there are infographics out there, people have released them, people have done spreadsheets and graphs and blah blah blah. You can just hop into the little news article, and you can, when the event started, you would have seen oh look, yeah, so for these days I need to do dungeon divers, so I need to make sure that I'm doing Ice Golem to dungeon dive for some stuff. And that was actually what instigated my trying to learn to solo Ice Golem 25, and ended up duoing him. I use Drex and somebody else, can't remember. But I tried to solo, and stage 25 just it wasn't. Still of the Drakes, that's right, is my other one. It wasn't working terribly well, so I duo Ice Golem 25, and that was my first attempt at trying to get a really solid stage 25 team. And since then, I've nailed Fire Knight, Dragon, and Spider. So it really pushed me in the last 12 days or so to really work on my stage 25 teams. So you work through the schedule and you see what's coming up, and today is the 27th. It's the day after Boxing Day. So we've got our last event starting tonight, which is the Artifact Enhancement event. That's the last of them. It's your last chance to get Hiscam from the events and tournaments. So we're currently running through the end of the Dragon one. We're running through Dungeon Divers. We're running through Champion Training, and the Artifact Enhancement event starts in a few hours. By the time I edit and get this video out, it's probably already kicked off well into it, and we'll be near the end of the fusion. So if you can manage to do the events and the tournaments, you can do the fusion. And it'll depend on resources such as the potions that you have. So you're going to need a lot of spirit potions, but interestingly enough, if we go and look at the fusion, 2 of these champions are spirit and 2 are magic. So you're actually going to need magic potions to ascend them, and of course magic brews. So if you have saved up some brews, you can see mine. I've used heaps of spirit ones. I've also used heaps of magic ones because I've already ascended one of the epic champions for the fusion. But I also use my brews to level champions during champion training events. Try to just level as many as possible to get the points to finish the event. So check the tournaments, check the events, figure out whether you have the resources, and go for it. When I do play the game and I'm not taking a break, I do go for the fusions, and I tell myself, man, it's the last time I'm going to fuse a legendary. It's so much effort. It's so much time, so much everything, just the resources that you need. It's, oh my gosh, I tell myself it's the last time. Then when I came back to the game this time, I went, ooh, that guy looks awesome, I'm going to fuse him. So yes, you can, absolutely, as a free-to-play player, if you manage your resources well, you can fuse the legendaries that they release. At the moment, we are doing the champion training, and we've still got over 2 days for this, and I'm absolutely well on my way to getting up to this 4,700. I'm at just under 3,000, so that's only about 1,700 more for champion training, and that's easy. I just need to level my champions, and I'm actually 2 level 5s in to getting my next 6-star. So I've leveled another Gala and Fanatic ready to use to 6-star the next, whichever champion I'm going to 6-star next, which is going to be either Helikath or Bivald of the Thorn. So, or maybe Ghostborn if I want to put him into my Dragon 25 team, perhaps. However, I don't have another Poisoner, so I use Draco for that. But he might be good for Dragon 25. So yeah, I'm getting all my Hiscams leveled up, and I'm converting them into the epics. So I've already used 4, and I've made Aishma. She's ready to go to fuse Nishak, the old Rat King. So yeah, I'll just leave you with that, and hopefully I'll make some more videos in the future just to go through whatever comes to mind, whatever's happening in the game, and my observations as a free-to-play player. I think there is some content out there. A lot of these content creators, when they started, they were spenders. They did incredible things. They have insane teams, insane gear. Like Scratch has the most godlike gear that he can put on his champions, and +4 legendary champions, all these heavy spenders that do amazing content, and they often dabble in a free-to-play series. This is not a free-to-play series, this is just me talking as I guess, a veteran player of the game, having not spent money on it, how I've got to where I'm at, and just using resources, and yeah, just the viability of getting through the game. I will do other videos about my progress on Doom Tower. I've avoided Hydra until now because I haven't been able to build even one Hydra team. And of course Iron Twins is a new thing for me. I can't get past stage 12. Forget that other one, the new Necropolis or whatever it is that they introduced. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked that I managed to nail my stage 25 dungeon teams, that I'm progressing further in hard Doom Tower than ever, that I'm starting to finish more faction wars. I still haven't got Lydia. I'm managing to complete more faction wars, still working on some of those. It's actually really tough to get the right champs and the right gear to clear faction wars. That's another big hurdle to get through. But yeah, it's definitely possible as a free-to-play player to build up a nice collection of champions. You have to work harder, save more resources to be able to get the gear that's actually going to make the difference. But yeah, do what you can and try to plan around events and around CVC a little bit. You don't have to save everything for CVC, but it's definitely a wise move to just pour out resources during CVC, help your clan out, help yourself out, and yeah, just find enjoyment where you can find enjoyment. And good luck if you are fusing the Rat King. I should have him in a few days once I finish my champion training, my dungeon diving, and artifact enhancement. Once I've done all those, got my risk arms, I can just toss out a few bros, level them a few times, and hopefully I'll have the resources to fuse this massive legendary champion. And then I probably won't have any gear to put on him, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Alright, thank you for watching.